What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today I want to talk to you about my very simple Christmas survival guide, okay? Now I'm going to break down exactly what I would focus on this month if you're looking to stay in shape, if you're looking to maintain your results, or kind of what the general focus should be when you get into the month of December. Now, I've done enough Christmases working with clients to be able to give guidance around this in terms of like what I would actually realistically think is the best thing to do. So what generally happens this time of year is you end up kind of getting two camps of people. Now, you get the type of person that has already made lots of progress up to this point. So it's been training hard, it's been dropping body fat, it's getting into really, really good shape. And they're a little bit worried now that Christmas is going to completely derail them. They think, what am I going to do? I've been in a calorie deficit up to this point, all this temptation. How am I going to handle it? What's the best thing for me to do? That's camp number one. And then we have camp number two, which is typically those people that have kind of put things on the back burner. They haven't really been doing anything for months. And they're like, okay, well, I'm probably going to start in January now. It's Christmas. I just want to enjoy myself. But at the same time, deep down, they're still a little bit worried about what they're going to do across this period because they don't want to balloon up in terms of their weight. So the advice I'm going to give is pretty much the same for both of these camps. And it really focuses around trying to maintain as much as possible. Now, the month of December is not really going to be a month where we're going to be able to implement strict fat loss, get loads of results from that perspective. We're not probably going to be pushing as much, with our training, with our nutrition, but this still doesn't mean we can't still make progress in some areas. And it certainly still doesn't mean that we can't maintain as much as possible. This is exactly the advice I'd give to both these camps. Maintain, build healthy habits, or maintain or continue healthy habits, and just hold as much structure in place as you possibly can so that when you get to the new year, you're not climbing Mount Everest. You're already in a good place. You've got a foundation built, your habits are in a good place, and then you can just crush your fat loss goals in January from a good position. So that's the advice I'd give. Now, here's some very simple tips that you can go away and implement, which will mean that you will be more successful this month than 90% of the population. Three biggest tips. I've got my trusted whiteboard here, which is hopefully going to provide a nice visual aid for this video as well. So, number one, first thing is that you need to maintain your training. You need to keep training, or if you haven't been training, start training. This is what you need to do. There is absolutely no reason why you have to wait till January to go and join a gym. It always baffles me why people want to do this. Go and take advantage of gyms now. They are quiet. There is not as many people in them. You can take advantage of the equipment. You can build confidence, you can build structure, and you can start to get results early. You can set some PBs from you training harder in the gym. If you are a little bit anxious around going to the gym, go now. It's quiet. You'll be able to build the structure, get more confidence so that when you come to the new year, you'll already have been to the gym a handful of times at least, knowing that the new year will be way easier to continue. So you don't want to drop your training. It has to be done. If we don't train, what happens is you're effectively going to end up losing muscle or even more muscle, gaining more body fat. And this is how we maintain a healthy metabolism. If we lift weights and we build muscle, we're actually going to burn more calories without doing anything. It's like a cheat code. Subconsciously, you just burn calories because you've got more muscle, which means that when we're trying to maintain our weight and we're strength training, it just makes it way easier. So as soon as you stop training or you don't do anything, you're just making fat loss or even fat maintenance way harder. So make sure you carry on training. And this doesn't need to be anything too advanced. If you just train 3 days a week, continue training 3 days a week. If you're doing 4 days a week, continue 4. You don't need to be in the gym every single day. And you can even be a little bit more relaxed in some of your sessions. You don't need to be maybe pushing quite as hard. Sometimes it is just about continuing those positive habits and structure that you've maintained up to this point. I know from next week, my training will definitely be a lot more regressed because I've got my Hyrox this Sunday. And then after that, probably going to slowly start to wind things down a little bit for Christmas. We'll see. But the goal isn't going to be hitting massive PBs over the Christmas periods. I'm just going to enjoy my training and make sure that I continue that. Keep muscle, stay strong, and it massively helps when it comes to maintaining, which is the goal this month, as I've already said. Number two is stay active. Okay? Don't be lazy. There's no need for you to be glued to the sofa or not do anything for the entire month of December. You want to try and stay as active as possible. I know it's cold, and I know that sometimes that does make a difference when it comes to going out and getting your steps in. However, you still need to make sure that you continue to do that as much as possible. I actually think that like walking throughout the winter is actually quite a nice thing. I don't mind the cold weather, maybe quite so much. I'm kind of used to living in the Dubai heat all the time. So going back to the UK is not too bad. But anyway, the point still remains. Keep active, stay as active as we can. This just means that you're burning calories without even really feeling like you're having to train that much, okay? Makes things super simple. And the way that we've got to look at this is this. We gain weight by eating more calories than we burn. So think of it like this. If you're consuming more calories, which you naturally are going to be across Christmas, you've got more temptation, more food's going in. And then if you reduce the output as well and you pull this down, imagine the scales. We've got this one going up and this one going down, which just means weight gain, balloon. This is what happens to everyone. Whereas if you focus on maintaining your step count or even making sure that you hit a higher step count over Christmas and be even more active, the chance of you gaining weight is going to be be a lot less, or you're going to gain less weight and you're just going to mitigate the effects of that a lot easier. So stay super active, you know, make sure you continue to use your Fitbits, your Apple Watches to continue hitting the steps that you have been doing all the way up to this point. And that even applies across the bigger days, you know, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's. Still go and make sure you continue to get your steps in. I know for a fact on all those days I'll be making sure I get my steps in. I always like to go for a run on Christmas Day because that puts me in a good mood, and I want to be in a good mood on Christmas around my family. New Year's Day, I always go for a nice walk normally with my mum. Again, that puts me in a good place. So I always like to try and make sure I stay on top of my overall activity levels. It's super important. And to finish things off, guys, number 3, super important one, is pick your battles, okay? People write off the entire month of December and they think that it's just a complete binge fest. Christmas is not a whole month, okay? Yes, like the Christmas period kind of starts in December, but this doesn't mean that you have to have an entire month completely written off. When I say pick your battles, you need to identify the days you are actually going to be off track. And if you would think about that right now, it's probably only a handful, maybe 2 handfuls depending on what you're doing. You've probably got Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then let's just throw in maybe like 3 events where you've got like, you know, your work party, your friends Christmas do, and then I don't know, you decide to go out for a meal with your partner or another friend, whatever, right? That's maybe like 7 or 8 out of an entire month. Okay, it's not that much. So if you make sure that on the other days you're sensible, you're going to actually enjoy the bigger days much better anyway, because you'll be on track the other days. So when you go and have something off plan, you drink a bit more alcohol, you eat a bit more food, it's going to be way more enjoyable, and you're not going to get the bad effects of just constantly binging and constantly eating crap and constantly just neglecting your health as an entire whole. Okay, so pick your battles is one of the most important things. Identify the days that you're going to be off track. Enjoy those days. You know, I'm not going to give you any advice around how to enjoy Christmas Day without falling off track. You're going to fall off track. You're going to eat tons of calories, probably a few other days as well. But these days don't make as much of a difference as you actually think, especially when you're consistent across all the other days as well. Okay, it's a super simple thing to start thinking about. Pick your battles in terms of the days you're going to fall off track. And that's it. Okay, this isn't rocket science. I'm not asking you to do a huge amount of stuff here. It's very, very, very simple things that you should really be doing all year round anyway. And if you just do these 3 things, as I said, you will be doing better than 90% of the population. You won't gain loads of weight. You won't fall back. You won't lose loads of progress that you've maintained up to this point. And most importantly, you build a solid foundation so that you can absolutely crush the new year and start getting into the shape of your life going into 2025. So as always, guys, I hope you found this video useful. I hope you appreciate the Santa's hat as well, trying to get festive with the time of year. As always, make sure you like the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you're notified every single time I post. We've got some big fitness content coming into 2025. And as always, guys, I'll catch you in the next video.